Hello everybody, this is Mithril Zenith. Welcome back to Mordor, the Depths of Dejenol. As you can see here, I've just been looking through my Hall of Records, and yeah, Goody Gilthriel, to no one's surprise, smartest, wisest, and has every record on the right here. Every one of the achievement records, except for thieving, which I believe she is either 1 or 5 points behind. I forget if she's 40 or 44. Enough levels in Scavenger and I can overtake my thief, but my thief is... There's been some discussions on the forums actually of like, okay, just how much better is Thief compared to Scavenger? Turns out a lot! Turns out a lot better. Yeah, there is quite the difference between a Thief and anyone else, though if I don't care about Charm of Opening, Ninja's not actually that much worse than Scavenger. So yeah, what's been going on? What's Mordor been about? Well, I made Mage 143. That was the level required to get all my equipment, like studied Cure Bully and whatnot. Debated whether I wanted to level Paladin and Scavenger more. I do want to level both of those, Paladin for the combat stats and Scavenger for thieving ability. But right now I'm blitzing Sorcerer until I can get my spells to minimum level, because I figure if I can at least get Paralyzing Death to minimum cost, which is 10, that's gonna be so good. That's gonna be so powerful. It's gonna mean a lot for me. And yeah, right now it's taking, a very large amount of experience per level. Over 160,000 per level right now. And I'm only 225! Yay! As you can also see in my inventory, I have a Rod of Passage and a Rod of Entrapment. Entrapment isn't necessary, it's just kind of something I've been bringing along. Because Soul Entrapment still costs 30 points. And that's quite a bit, especially if I want to, just charm a butcher on my way down. Or some Frost Bears or something. All I need is, level 60 is pretty good. Pretty close to what I need. And the Rod of Passage is because, well, on 2 separate occasions I hit a teleport trap that locked me into a place that I could not get out of without some sort of movement spell. And I didn't have enough points, so I had to run a rescue party down. Yeah. Also, if I go into... Is it in guild or is it in character? In character. You see, I died twice. I died a second time. That's because I was down on floor 10, ran out of spell points, was taking more damage than I thought I was, tried to go back up, ran into ninjas. But it only took them 11 days for them to find me. I don't know why I pressed that button instead of sending my rescue party down, but yeah, it only took 11 days, so honestly, it's not that bad. Still kind of sucked, and I'm age 27, and I'm starting to make a dent in my potions of youth, so I'm gonna hopefully get some dragon's blood here soon. But yeah, Rod of Passage just to prevent me from getting soft locked somewhere and have to rely on a rescue party. I also realized if I ever run out of my Ring of Frost, if it ever gets destroyed by slime, I have at least one more on my thief. Ugh. I love having fire, cold, and electrical resistance from my crest of the sorcerer because that is so good. That is so helpful. Anyway, I'm not quested for anything, so let's just start going down. I'm feeling alright today. I'm not overwhelmed by the weight of the world. Not coming down with any sort of, horrible existential crisis. I'm feeling like things are gonna be okay. And that's good. That's a good feeling, because I haven't necessarily felt okay in a little while. Did I seriously fail a floor 2 fire trap? This is not a good omen of things to come. So over the last week, I was noticing that even when I wasn't recording, and even when I muted the music, Mordor was still having some lag spikes occasionally, and I really didn't know what to think about that, know what to do about that. And so I decided, you know what, let me see if like Windows is trying to update or something. And I looked, and turns out there was a critical update, like a version update, and it's like, you know, for Windows 10, the 1903 update, that my computer should have gotten back in May, and never did. Like, the update tried to run, and it failed, and so I manually ran the update, and it failed, and so I had to download the update assistant to get the update to work. And ever since then, my computer's been actually decent. I also spent a little bit of time and cleared out a lot of stuff on my hard drive, because I'd been like installing new games and stuff, and I've been recording videos, and turns out that takes up a lot of hard drive space, so yeah. It's interesting. It's like I went from like, you know, 100 gig free to like over 250 free just from clearing out old stuff that I wasn't using. A lot of old games that I wasn't playing, and some other things here and there. Old versions of software that I downloaded, tried out, and never went back to, yet for some reason never deleted, never fully uninstalled. Yeah. So it was nice being able to go back through those and clear those out. Oh, it is nice having these 6 casts of Pillar of Fire. 6 guilt-free casts of Pillar of Fire. And generally all of them get used up on floor 7 as I'm clearing the lake. But you know what? I'd rather just clear stuff faster and get through than admittedly reserve my spell points, but take like 5+ rounds trying to kill out a cluster of giant crocodiles who... Did I seriously fail to one-shot a KU Yanmo? That's what happened, and that's why I don't melee things. There's someone who's been going around with a solo human, and talking about it on the forums, and has been like, yeah, I just kind of melee everything, and I only use my spell points for healing, and I'm like, good for you, you have access to the warrior class, and your size normal, and you probably have a better weapon than... Granted, the Vampire Fang's really good, but... he can probably find something with better damage mod than 1.7. He can probably work with like an Avenger or something. I guess if he's leveling a mage class, probably wouldn't be able to. But at the very least, his raw fighting stats are going to be significantly higher than mine, simply due to the fact that he has access to the warrior class, which is insane. Warrior class is like so good in this game. Blackout. Yeah, the warrior class in this game is so good. Like, all of these specialist classes, as in like they focus only on one thing, in Mordor, are so much better at that one thing than any of the more generalist classes. Like, I don't even know how to explain just how much better they are. Because even though the numbers, like you have numbers you can look up for guild statistics, those still don't really mean that much. Because like some of them are linear, some of them are square, some of them are logarithmic. The game never explains it to you what those like numbers actually mean in terms of the actual calculations. It just kind of says, oh hey, you know, these are some numbers we have, and it's a rough estimate of just how good some guilds are at doing certain things. Like multiple swings, for instance. Ninja has like 9 in multiple swings, and Warrior has like 5, and then Paladin and Scavenger are like 4 or 3. Want to know what that means? Ninja can get two extra swings for free before anyone aside from Warrior can even get one. And ninjas can get up to 4 free extra swings, whereas everyone else can only get up to 2. If they're a fighting class that has rankings and extra swings, which most classes don't. Also, what type of companion did I pick up? Mori Bilk? What the freak? What is a Mori Bilk? No. I will never know what a Mori Bilk is. I messed up. I meant to try and find where the info screen is. And so in my attempt to find that, I decided that right click would be good. Because, you know, in most things in life, you right click and then a side menu pops up. Not in this case. In this case, it turns out... I only charmed 1. That sucks. In this case, as it turns out, right-clicking means... attacking your companion immediately. It just automatically happens. And I just attacked my companion. And so now I'll never know what a Moribilk is. I don't even know if they're, like, important monsters, if I can be quested for them, if they're charm resistant. Who knows? Not me. Also, who is calling me? Scam likely. Shut the heck up. Thought I was getting on the do not call list to prevent these, but I feel like I've only ever gotten more issues ever since I've done that. Who knows, it's probably just the American Red Cross. Because you donate blood one time, and then suddenly you're like a wanted criminal. It's just like, oh yeah, you will never... Like, the American Red Cross will never let you go. Also, I am completely out of spell points. I should really do something about that. Even though I still have 32,000 to go before leveling up. Oh dear. Yeah, this is what leveling Sorcerer has been as of late. It's not bad, it's not hard, it's just annoying and time-consuming, because I can't necessarily stay, like, actively deeper than floor, like, 10 or 11, maybe? Floor 11 itself has its own problems, because piranhas are worth no experience. Because I have, like, 1 hit point each, so just come in squads of, like, 20 apiece. But I have that. And plus they just, like, tear me to shreds. And then all the lower level places to farm don't regularly give me enough experience. Oh, it's completely bound. Why am I still not identifying these things well? Well, I'll just keep my defenders. There's still 12 binding. That's fine. Now that I've cleared out early floors on the dungeon, I can go back down and do a cap. A cap of protection, or whatever that's called. No, not that vampire fang. Yeah, as far as equipment goes, I actually have a new upgrade. This thing right here, a magician's helm. No, don't drop it. I forget if I got it from the Demonist or if I got it from floor 10, but it's pretty good. Requires some high magic guild rates, but it gives 1 int, 1 wisdom, 9 defense is the big focus. Like, it's definitely nothing compared to a Mithril Helm. But it's one of the better helms that I can use. So I'm definitely gonna use it while I can. Oh, Companion 2 broke a level of binding. Okay. What if I just cast Domination? Both my companions. There we go. Raise their bind levels back to 15. That's what I like to see. And now I can actually just go forward. Sounds great. And yeah, as soon as I use up this Rod of Enchantment, I have a cube, I believe, of enchantment? Entrapment? You know what word I'm trying to use. Yeah, I believe I have like a cube of entrapment or something. Which casts at a level of like 100 something, I think, whereas this Rod only casts at a level of around 60. So the Rod is already starting to hit the end of its usefulness, whereas something like the cube would definitely continue to be useful. It's always interesting how things like mythicals just sometimes... Okay, different monsters being in different groups is also an interesting thing. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, it's kind of funny, because it's like, okay, and now I just have, like, you know, large rats, along with Morden Pandrons. Somehow I feel like those two weren't supposed to be together, but they were. And wow, I took just long enough for floor 7 to start filling itself out. Also, my computer's running very... Yeah, the fan's running. I'm like 90% sure the fan's running. I think I feel some hot air. Everything's just going... Like, I feel like it's running hot. I don't know if it is, but it feels like it is. I don't know. Could have done something wrong. Could have done something bad. Freaking blackout. Do I even care right now? I'm just against crocodiles. I might just hit... I'm not going to bother with casting my resistances until I clear this lake out again, in case I run into another blackout. Because I at least have boots of agility, which help me to fly. That's all I need. Plus, especially when I can one-round everything with a spell cast. Doesn't necessarily matter what I run into. Doesn't matter what resistances I have. If everything's dead, it can't hurt me. Okay. And then we... Yeah, I can pretty regularly one-shot things like crocodiles, but it's not a sure thing. And I hate that it's not a sure thing. And it's not even, you know, the 2.5% chance of missing, or whatever it is in this game. It's simply the fact that I sometimes don't deal enough damage. And it's a fairly regular seeming thing, which is why I spam all my spells. When I very first played Mordor, oh man. When I very first played Mordor, I felt like I couldn't use spells unless it was an absolute necessity. Or unless I was actively training in a spellcasting class, and then I would just use like my basic spell, like Shock, as if it were my basic attack, and just disregard melee combat altogether. It wasn't until a decent time later that I finally started, I don't know, playing like a decent player? I don't know how else I want to say that. So I finally started using spells for what they are. Hey, I can blast these enemies with these spells. And it'll work, and it'll help me a lot. And I don't have to worry about it. We are recruiting those witches because witches. Witches cast element spells, and element spells are pretty dang good. I mean, they're the spells that I've been using on a regular basis. It's acid spray, paralyzing death, flesh to stone, poison, and leprosy. I don't think they actually cast poison. I could be wrong. Maybe they have access to it, but they just never do because the AI has it in such low priority. Yeah, let's keep going. As you can see, I've been exploring a little bit more of floor 10. Oh, witches are great companions. And then you run into an enemy witch, and everyone dies, and I'm sad. Where bears? Okay, sure. Disease spores. I'm gonna have to be careful with my spell points right now. I say as I just acid spray the next group to come into contact with me. I was worrying that my witch was like low on hit points or something because she wasn't casting anything. Well, let's bring along these brigands. They're at least... I don't want to step into that teleporter. Thank you. And now I'm out of spell points. Well, I detected that rotator, so good for me. Oh, wolf spiders in anti-magic zones. That was probably bad. Haven't taken that many hits, though. Doing decent on the hits front. Holy Warrior. Well, he's in an anti-magic area, so I can't charm him. So I might as well kill him, but... Huh. I think it's my first time encountering a Holy Warrior. Not bad. Not bad. Might have been like a special layer or something. I feel like I was talking about something and then I just left that conversation. I abandoned it on the highway, and now there's no going back to it. I hate that tiny chance of failure every time I step over a pit. If there's one thing I would... Oh, witch turned on me. Well, now she's dead. If there's one thing that I wish I could change about Mordor, and I know it's supposed to still be a threat, that way it's not like, oh yeah, you have boots of levitation, now you don't have to worry about this ever again. But if there's one thing I would change, it's the fact that you can still fall down pits despite being levitating, and shoots. And it's like, okay, explain how this happens. Do I just forget that I'm levitating and allow myself to fall down into the pit trap? It's like a covered pit trap and then I lose my footing. Does that mean I have the ability to levitate but I'm not always levitating? What does this mean? As there's just a chance every step that my levitation, like, you know, forgets that I'm levitating, that just like has some sort of runtime error? How does levitation work in the sense that you fall down a pit like 1 in 20 times? Like, I understand the chance of like 1 in 20 chance of failure of things like this, but I still don't get, and I don't think I'll ever understand why it is, what the explanation is, or reasoning behind it. You just fall down pits, even though you're levitating. mind-boggling to me. Ugh, hiccups. Oh, shoot. That's not gonna be fun. Maybe if I focus, I won't hiccup. I think that with what I've cleared, I have one more decent shot, like straight shot down to floor 11. Maybe this time I'll just skip floor 7 if it starts respawning. Okay, come on, floor 6. Ice demons, no. Kill the ice demons first, because they will kill my companions. Thank you. Still gonna zap dragons whenever I see them. Like, that's not even... I'm not even gonna joke about that. I'm just gonna zap the dragon as soon as I see the dragon. Okay, kill the weaponist, because... you know, I'm somehow not able to one-shot them, despite it's like half the time I can one-shot them successfully, the other half I can't. And it's either because of a low damage roll on my part, or a high hit point roll on their part. Usually both. I'll just burn these guys. I know they're weak, but can't be bothered to deal with Poltergeist right now. See, there we go. I'm like just behind. Which means that when I'm coming back up the stairs, floor 7 is going to be filled behind me. At least those couple rooms will be. Wow, failure to kill Melanchor. Okay. I guess they actually have decent hit points, so it's not too surprising. Has floor 9 respawned behind me? I hope not. Nope, it hasn't. Might it respawn behind me as I'm exploring floor 11? It's possible. So now apparently there's actually a stairway to floor 12 fairly close by. I guess there's that one across the lake, but I kind of want to explore the ground areas here. What the freak is a Tazen anyway, and also why is it charm resistant? Oh, there's a chute. That's not what I want, especially not after what I just discussed of, oh yeah, random chance of failure. Random chance of complete failure. And whenever I'm walking over that chute, I might just fall in. That could be really bad. Well, there's a rotator, okay. That room's not too bad. Ransay Munsay. Oh, the main theme is playing. Really long hallway. Into fog. Just get charmed. I was 3 hit points away from killing that guy with an acid spray, which would have killed the entire group. Ugh. I don't like that very much. Oh. That is a face direction. Come on. I know it's a face south square. I know it's a face south square. Mark it on your map that it's a face south square, please. That way I don't forget later. You're completely certain. Anti-magic area. Nope. Nope. I am not doing that. Anti-magic area full of fiends. Also, there's a face direction there. Corpsers. Kill the corpsers, please. Kill them now. I would very much like them to be dead. And I wouldn't like to spend all my magic on them. Okay, is this just a square? That's just a square. This is a pit. This is open. And we have demons over here, and... What? What is this layout? As you can tell, I'm not looking up a map right now to figure this out. Wow, secret door. Oh shoot, that's an extinguish. Ooh, almost stepped there. Another vampire lair. Another vampire lair. And it dropped a tome. Freezing mists. They're dead now. Whoa, teleporter. Where am I? Oh, I'm in this corner. Okay, so floor 11 has a teleporter back down to floor 9. Interesting. It's all information I've probably read before. Oh, shoot, ninjas. In the same freaking place as before. Ones that killed me last time. No thank you. No thank you, ninjas. Not today. Okay. Crystal of Healing. What if I just used some of this? I probably have enough hits, but one can never be too careful when ninjas are about. Thanks, ninjas. Real pleasure. Wait a second. I just had a revelation. Floor 10 is respawning faster than floor 9. Because when I stepped into floor 9 and went through squares that I had traversed before, they were empty. But when I step over here... Also, why are these squares not respawning? What's with the respawn bug? Why does it happen? Wish I knew what to tell ya. Sometimes the game just forgets that it hasn't respawned a room. I get that it's an old game with a lot to process, and therefore is going to have a lot of bugs, but... Seriously? Some of these I just shake my head at and go, come on. Kill one of them, please. Kill the werebears? Are these thieves the worst fighters in history? I may have recruited the worst fighters in history. Okay, there's a face north. Cool, my character discovered it. Okay. Lemurian outcasts. No shock lance today. Hey! It's another water area. Hey, and it's quicksand. In water. Because that makes sense, right? Yeah, that totally makes sense. Absolutely nothing strange about that. Okay, I think I can just explore this little cube and I'll be good to go. Is that rock? That's rock. Okay. And now we're out of spell points. And we didn't make that much experience, but we did make some progress in mapping the dungeon. Outcast goblins. You know, I'm 90% certain that I didn't ID those right, and those were actually weaponists, because that's the group that spawns in that floor. Is Weaponist Group 1, Numenogs Group 2. But at this point, I'm just prepared for the game to surprise me, and so it's like, sure, bring in the floor 1 outcasts. Why not? They made it to floor 10. Sure. That's when it was like raised by wolves situation, except instead of being like a person who was raised by wolves, it's like, okay, here's some outcast goblins that were raised by freaking magic immune Numenogs. I don't know how it works. You figure it out. We got a ring. I love that I can get rings just from, like, ordinary monsters this deep in the dungeon, that I don't have to go all the way down to the Twisted Elf, even though the Twisted Elf drops them, like, 2 floors early. I like how the game gives you the option, because those rings are insanely helpful if you get them at the level where you're traversing level 5. But they're also decently helpful throughout the rest of the game, and you don't have to subject yourself to visiting the far corner of, you know, middle of nowhere floor 5 just to get them. I like how this game handles that. If this were like an MMO or, you know, most other RPGs, it's like, oh yeah, these rings are only dropped by one type of enemy, which means you gotta grind that particular enemy. And if it's a boss, well, you gotta grind the boss encounter. Thanks, MMOs. That's really fun and exciting gameplay, which is like, it's not bad. At least they give reasons for people to play old content instead of, you know, oh, you played it once and then you're done, and then no one's playing it again. Especially if it's group experience, then it's really nightmares for the people who didn't do it day one. But yeah, I really like how Mordor does it and it scales the stuff where it's like, the only stuff you have to go to a very particular place to get are the stuff at, like, the very end of the game. And then it's like, okay, well, it's endgame material. Of course it's only going to drop from, like, a particular choice couple of monsters from the very end. Or it's stuff that is clearly unique, like, I don't know, the giant king's hammer, for instance. I'm just going to come back and, like, flame those spiders. I mean, not spiders, ants. Because I can. Anyway, ooh, it's looking like we're approaching the 40-minute mark, so I'd probably best wrap this up. Had a decent day today. Got, like... Oh, thief left. Awesome. Thanks. Thanks, buddy. You were real helpful against those werewolves and werebears. Let me tell you what. You did so good. Except you didn't actually hit, like, anything at all in that encounter. And were the worst, and why did I even bother charming you? Oh, anyway. Let's make this level... They want my Sphere of Dislocation. I'm not giving up a 55U Sphere of Dislocation. I can just buy a 25U Sphere of Dislocation. Yeah. Anyway, I think this is going to be where I'm going to call it, though. I'm probably just going to ID these thieves and... Yep. Surprisingly decent stats. 213, 200. Backstab and steal. That's about it, though. Not very much important about them. To get any good items, I want to figure out what that ring is. Aside from that, no. I'm assuming not. Unless the tome that I got from the vampire has anything on it. Ring. I think this is like invisibility. Levitation. Still just as useless. In fact, more useless now that I have boots. Tome. A neutral tome of spells. Not bad, vampire, not bad. Gloves. Gloves of might. Nice. These are gloves that I have. And then nymphlets, which are cursed. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been not a bad day, all things considered. Took forever to get 2 sorcerer levels, but that's just the state of the game I'm in right now. As soon as I can start regularly making my way downtown to floor 11 and beyond, and actually kill stuff regularly without having to take forever in combat or spam Paralyzing Death's down to 14. Yes! 4 more points. 4 more points. Paralyzing Death was like 15 when I started today, and it looks like 227 is the level it hits 14. Nice. I'm excited about that. Anyway, I'll keep leveling Sorcerer until that hits 10, and then I'm going down to Scavenger again. At least Scavenger levels fast, its crest is decent, it gives cold res, and 6 free charges of Charm of Opening. It's definitely not a bad class to level. I just don't want to be stuck in Scavenger for the rest of my life. Oh well, thank you so much for watching. This is Mythro Zenith signing out. Peace, have a great day, enjoy your life. See you next time.